Welcome to Team Effort. Today's topic is how to measure code quality, or why hard metrics aren't always enough. Hi, I'm Morten from Hyperreactive. Today we're going to talk about code quality, what it is, why it matters, and in particular, how to measure it over time. If you like the content here, please give this channel a subscribe. And as always, you can read even more about this topic in the article linked in the description below, where you can also sign up for our newsletter. This time around, the article contains a plethora of tools you can use for some of the hard metrics mentioned in this video. First off, what is code quality and why does it matter? Code quality is a rubber term describing the overall health of your code base and how easy it is to work with. Is it easy to add new features? How long does it take to fix a bug? How long does it take to onboard a new developer and make them familiar with the code? All of these things, of course, can't be expressed by numbers or a set of numbers. They are subjective and they can't easily be measured. Here's our attempt of putting some words on these attributes that good quality code has in our opinion. I could talk for hours on each of these 20 plus attributes, what they mean for the code base, why they matter, and how to improve them. Not all of them are equally important nor equally scoped. Some are a lot more specific than others. But let me pull out a few key and more general concepts. First, let's talk about habitable. It's a term I only recently came across, but it's a great umbrella term for how easy it is to get familiar with the code base. If you bring a new but experienced developer to the code base, how quickly do they pick up on the structure of the code, the coding style, etc. And for such a term, it's quite easy to see why it matters. If you can onboard a new developer in days instead of months, it's a lot of money saved right there. Secondly, let's focus on maintainable. It's also an umbrella term for a lot of the other concepts, including well-concerned, tested, and debuggable code. And it's really important in the team to ensure that bugs are found quickly and new features can easily be integrated. If you have to spend several days fixing a small bug, it's of course a lot more expensive. So good quality code saves you money, literally, as you have to spend less money onboarding, maintaining, and developing. But money isn't everything. Another extremely important and often overlooked component of code quality is how fun is it to work with the code base. If all your developers hate working with section X of the code base, there's probably something very wrong with it. And on the other hand, if your developers volunteer for certain tasks and are fighting to get the good jobs, then you know that that section of the code is probably of higher quality and will receive more attention and care in the future. But on to the topic, how do we measure code quality? Well, some of these previously mentioned items are actually measurable, but most of them aren't. The easiest pickings include well-formatted code. Just run it all through your linter and report the number of errors and warnings. Tested code. Well, run your test suite, report coverage numbers. We've talked about the topic of test coverage previously, so click the card to see more about that. Compact. Well, report characters per line, lines per function, functions per file, etc. Other attributes that can be measured with current tools but whose results aren't as clear-cut include simple. You can run some complexity graph analysis on your code. Properly spelled. Well, you can run some kind of source code spell check. There exist several tools of this type, but they aren't super simple to use and it's not that easy to do. Consistent. Well, you can run static analysis on your code base and check for variable renaming. Do you call the same things, the same names in different places? But most are really hard to measure. How do you measure if your code is habitable? And how do you repeat this after each sprint? Do you send your code base off to 5 new people after every sprint and ask them how easy it is to get to know the code and how easy it is to understand everything in there? That would be extremely unreliable and of course very expensive. For these more subjective aspects of code quality, we recommend straight up asking your team. Have your team rate different sections of the code on a number of scales, one of them for instance being how fun it is to work with this part of the code base. Of course, don't ask the same developers about everything every time. That'll get very tedious and you won't get that good results. It's of course still very subjective and it can probably be hard to see it evolve over time, but hopefully you'll see some patterns emerge. One thing that will quickly be clear is if you have some trouble spots in your code base. If some sections of your code repeatedly and consistently get bad reviews from several of your developers, there's probably something wrong with it. You're hopefully already aware, but this could be a tool to tell you exactly how this code is bad. It might be old tech or extreme complexity. Both of these have to be mitigated in different ways. High code quality is important for the bottom line in the business, but also for developers' sanity. Working with healthy, well-organized code is just a lot more fun on a daily basis. Measuring code quality in a few numbers is of course impossible, but you should have an idea about the overall health and quality of your code base, and especially how it's evolving and if there are any sore spots in the application that you need to dedicate some extra time for. Ignoring code quality is not only irresponsible and a kick in the face to your team members, it can also get really expensive. This brings me to the question of the day. What do you think is the most important metric of code quality? Please give your answer in a comment below and feel free to tag it like this. Finally, remember to like and subscribe for more content like this. We'll be posting new content every Monday, Wednesday and Friday, so make sure to stay updated. When you follow the link below to the in-depth article, you can also sign up for a newsletter on all things relevant for modern web development teams. Keep coding and thanks for watching.